Hello, and welcome back to the Misty Morrison podcast. I'm your host, Misty Morrison, and this is episode 65 of Was I in the Wrong? Here on the Misty Morrison podcast, we love to read or listen. We love to give advice. We love to help people look back on their situations with that 2020 vision to see how they could have handled the situation more gracefully, or look at current situations to see what they should do. Before we get into the stories for the day, our usual housekeeping, whether you are new or returning, thank you so much for being here. Please remember to engage with content to help the channel grow. I am trying to build a dream. Every little bit of engagement can help. Engaging online is free. You can leave a 5-star review on podcast. Anywhere else, you can comment with your thoughts on stories down below. Give it a like, subscribe for more, and share it with a friend. All the things. Long-form content goes live on podcast and YouTube twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and short-form content goes live 3 times daily. Okay, into our stories for the day. Story number 1 is coming to us from r/AITA weddings. AITA for not wanting to attend my brother's wedding. I, 24 female, don't want to attend my brother's, 26 male, wedding in Wales in July. We've always had a strained relationship, but he invited me to his wedding, surprisingly, with my long-term partner at the time, which I have recently separated from. I'm having issues with the thought of facing my brother and family. I have a strained relationship with most, as I don't often reach out, but neither do they. There is family traveling from all over the world to see the wedding and family, which could also be my last time to see them, and I do feel guilty about that, but in the same breath, I haven't received much support from them over my life, and I have other big events I'm traveling for in the same month. I'm supposed to RSVP in the next week, and I really just don't know how to deal with it. So, AITA for not wanting to go. No, I mean, if you... This has been, let's just say, they had to RSVP in the next week. This was 9 days ago, and there's not an update on it. But no, I mean, if you're not close to him, why would you attend? Like, if you attend, you're not only giving your money for the expense of travel, you're getting a gift, and your time of being there surrounded by people that you're not close with, that you don't feel supported by. I feel like the only point in going is so people see you there, like to say you went. I know you said this could be your last time to see them, which sounds very ominous, but do you need a last time seeing people you already know you don't really get along well with? I don't quite see the point in going except to make some kind of show of like looking supportive, but if that doesn't matter to you, I wouldn't. That's also coming from someone who chronically does not like weddings. Didn't like my own wedding. Hindsight is 2020. Should've, would've, could've eloped. I don't like going to weddings in general. They stress me out. I do sometimes, not very often. It has to be a special person for me to go, but I avoid them when I can. So I'd say you are right if you decide not to go. Story number 2 is coming to us from r/AITA_relationships. AITA-H to break up with my boyfriend of 1.5 years over chili oil. Interesting. Hi, I'm 22 female, have been dating this guy for the last 1.5 years. He's 28, by the way. Last night, he came to my home to check on me because I was super sick. Now, my mom walks into my room, and to start small talk, his explanation, by the way, he goes, "You should probably first take away her chili oil. That's why she's been sick." And just on point, starts gossiping with my mother, and my mother entertains it. Now, here's the thing. I've always had bad relationship with food, both because I've always been fat, and as I grew up, it became my way of coping. Yep, like binging on chocolates when I'm sad. Additionally, I also have a family that makes sure to pick my life apart for all that are not good about me, according to them. And my mom and dad call it love. Like, they love love. That is why they're so honest. Food, hair, body type, even my boobs. Not kidding. I had my grandmother laughing with my aunt in front of me about how my boobs were crooked and not flattering. I was 15. So to say the least, I like staying away from them and rather not discuss the details of my life with them. My boyfriend knew all of this. I made sure to let him know about my feelings when a similar thing happened before. Not once, but multiple times. My boyfriend and I already were having problems for the last couple of months, and not going to go into details about those situations, but yep, they were pretty similar. All ending with, I'm sorry, I just need another chance, and then him hurting me the same way again. I always felt like I was being manipulated into believing that next time is going to be better, and next time just turns out even worse. After he made that comment and my mom joined in about stuff, I just got up, asked him to show himself out, and left. My mom, as usual, pretends like she knows nothing, and everything is fine. On the other hand, my boyfriend followed me up to the terrace where we did have a bad fight, and I made it clear to him that I don't want to stay with him anymore. And all he could say was, really? You're gonna break up over chili oil? Now, I don't really have friends or family who I can really talk to, so I'm posting here to get some opinions. Be honest, I don't mind, really. This was posted 7 days ago, and I really hate it when people try to minimize the situation and be like, oh, you're breaking up over this or you're having this reaction over this. No, you're not breaking up over chili oil. You're breaking up over him being inconsiderate about the things you've already expressed to him multiple times matter to you. It's not about chili oil. It's about a lack of respect for you as a person and a lack of consideration for you and your feelings. If you are dating someone, your feelings should be their top priority. No, we're not all precious snowflakes, and not everyone has to give a damn about your feelings. But your partner should. The person that you are in a relationship and trying to build a life with should care about your feelings. So, no, you're right. You stick to your guns. Like, you have been on this roller coaster, on this hamster wheel for long enough. You have figured out that you're being manipulated, that he's always, every time, just give me one more try, I'll do better. And he doesn't. He's had several one more tries. Be done like you said you are, and don't let him make you feel guilty about chili oil when it has nothing to do with chili oil. It has everything to do with him. In this situation, it's not you, it's him, and he needs to hear that. I'm proud of you for finally standing up for yourself. Story number 3 is coming to us from r/AITA_relationships. AITA for going to the movies without my husband. Immediately no. Background. I, 37 female, am currently going through a rough patch, understatement, with my 41 male husband of 16 years. Long story short, 3 months ago, I learned of an emotional/sexting affair he had with a mother at our kids' school who I had once considered a friend. Not close, but friendly. He ended the affair over a year before I was informed of it. Over a year ago before I was informed of it. And in that year, we had the best year of marriage. Truly the most in love we'd ever been. Nothing physical happened. It was purely texting/sexting. Since learning of the emotional affair, I've been on a roller coaster of emotions, and we're working in individual counseling and will start marriage counseling in a month or so, or when I feel ready. The core issue being my need/desire for protection and his lack of providing that. Okay, so the movie. I'm a big fan of Peaky Blinders, and it came out on my birthday. My family, including my husband and sister, said they would take me to the movies to watch it as part of my birthday celebrations. Well, that didn't happen. My sister, who spearheaded the idea, ended up going with my dad and her husband and didn't even tell me she went. So they let me down there. There are patterns of lack of protection/consideration from my fam. I'm the eldest daughter, so if you know, you know. And my husband bought me a beautiful gift, and we had spring break with our kids, which entailed a road trip. So I guess he ran out of time, but again, I felt like he's let me down. So I said, F it, I'm going to go by myself tonight. The last night it is being shown at my local theater, and 20 days past my birthday. I bought one ticket, and it looks like I will be the only one in the theater. I went and told my husband about the movie. I just said, I have plans. And I'm starting to feel guilty, so I've come to the internet for validation or redirection. AITA if I go solo to this movie and not even tell him my plans? No. No. This might be cliche at this point, but I firmly believe if he wanted to, he would. That's not strictly for men, it's for anyone. If she wanted to, she would. Whoever. If he wanted to, he would. If your sister really, truly wanted to experience the movie with you, she would have waited. Her and her husband, or yeah, her husband and your dad and her would have waited. They would have planned it to go with you. Point blank. Your husband, if he really wanted, like once he found out that they went without you, okay, it was on him to make sure, like if he wanted you to have that for your birthday that he knew you wanted, and a movie, it's not that much. It was on him then to plan it to make sure that you got to go. Knowing that tonight, well, which the story is past, but knowing that tonight, the night that you bought the ticket, is the last night it's being shown in the theater and you wanted to experience this movie in the theater, no, you're right. No one can blame you for just finally giving up, saying, I wanted to see this. Even if I have to do it alone, I'm going to go for myself. That's fair. Like you waited 20 days past your birthday and everyone let you down. They said they would take you to the movie for your birthday. It was their idea. You didn't ask for it. And one by one, they dropped off and didn't do what they said they were going to do. So no, I don't blame you for going and going alone. I mean, if you told him about it and he said, oh, I forgot, like, I want to go with you, then I think it would be unfair if you didn't buy a ticket and let him go. But it doesn't seem like that happened. You got the ticket. You said, you said, I have plans. You didn't tell him you were going to the movie. So that's why he didn't say anything about wanting to go. I see that now. But I feel like you decided you just want to be alone and enjoy your damn movie. So good for you. Go enjoy it. Don't feel guilty. Yeah. I say this as someone who has slowly over a lot of years come to accept that you have to learn to be okay with doing things alone. You're not always going to get the people that you want to go and do things and have experiences with. They're not always going to be on the same page as you of wanting to have these experiences or do these things. You shouldn't be missing out. I did for a long time. You shouldn't be missing out on something fun that you want to do that brings you enjoyment just because the people or person that you expected would or should be doing it with you opted out. You wanted to do it. It's enjoyment for you. You go and still get that enjoyment, whether it's alone or not. That's fair. Story number 4 is coming to us from r/AITA_relationships. AITA for ending my 5-year relationship after my fiance basically broke up with me at my cousin's funeral. Immediately no. How are you ending the relationship if he basically broke up with you? I don't understand. My cousin suddenly and unexpectedly passed away. I was devastated. He was like a brother to me. I, 30 female, had been with my fiance, 31 male, for 5 years, and we were living about 8 hours away from my family. When I got the news about my cousin, I wanted to fly out immediately, but he made a stink about the money and taking extra time off work. Overwhelmed with grief, I agreed that we would drive out the week of his funeral. Knowing he struggles with social anxiety, I told him ahead of time that he didn't need to come, as there were over 300 people RSVP'd to attend my cousin's funeral. Wow. He reassured me that he wanted to be there to support me. We arrived at my parents' house the day before the funeral. I checked in with him again and told him he could stay back if he needed to. He gave me the same answer, that he would be fine and wanted to be there for me. So far, it's on the up and up. Well, not at the beginning, but... The next day, we got to the venue early to help set up and spend time with family. Not even 20 minutes after arriving, I realized my fiancé was nowhere to be found. I eventually spotted him off in the corner on his phone. I asked if he was okay, and he coldly responded that he was fine. I told him that I really needed him next to me as things were about to start. He agreed and followed me, but when I went to sit down with my family, he disappeared again. After the service ended and people began to mingle, I went looking for him yet again, only to find him sitting outside scrolling on his phone. I asked again if he was okay, and he said he was fine. But when I pressed more, he said, "If you don't understand, then you clearly don't care. Just go have fun with your family." It's a funeral. It's not fun. I was shocked, confused and hurt. I asked if someone had said something or if I had done something wrong. He told me not to worry about it and to just enjoy my time. I explained that this wasn't a fun family gathering and I needed his support. He wasn't budging, so eventually I left to go be with my family. The drive back to my parents' house was incredibly tense. He started unloading on me, saying things like, "This made me realize you're not my person. I've wasted so much time on you, and you've never prioritized me, even though I've given up everything for you." When I asked where this was coming from, he said I had abandoned him at the funeral to be with my family. It was the point of going to the funeral for her to be with her family. He also claimed it brought up unresolved feelings about his grandmother passing at the beginning of the year. The entire 30-minute drive was filled with him calling me selfish and a terrible partner. I told him it wasn't fair to put all of that on me, especially that day. I was already grieving and it was too much to process. He ended it by saying, "We just have to get through the rest of the weekend. When we get home, we'll figure out next steps." I broke down to my parents and sister, trying to make sense of everything. My mom even tried to talk to him, but he shut her down, saying, "I'm not discussing this with you. Respect my boundaries," and locked himself in the room. The next morning, he came out and said he was leaving, whether I went with him or not, because he felt uncomfortable staying. I told him I was staying and would fly back. My sister called him out, saying his behavior was unacceptable, and he left. That night, he texted me saying he was disappointed I hadn't checked to make sure he had got home safely after driving 8 hours alone while in emotional distress. I didn't respond, and I didn't reach out the rest of the weekend. When I got home, I was prepared for the worst, but instead, everything had shifted. He asked how my time with my family was, how my flight went. He had cleaned the apartment, stocked it with my favorite snacks, and even made a PowerPoint presentation outlining everything we'd been through and the changes he planned to make. Love bombing. Oh. I told him we were no longer aligned, that we were on two completely different paths. I said I wanted to be with someone who truly believed I was their person, and who wouldn't walk away when things got hard. He noticed I wasn't wearing my engagement ring and said he couldn't believe I was throwing everything away. He threw it away first. Oh my gosh, I want to go back to earlier. After the service ended and people began to mingle, I went looking for him yet again, only to find him sitting outside scrolling on his phone. I asked again if he was okay, and he said he was fine, but when I pressed more, he said, "If you don't understand, then you clearly don't care. Just go have fun with your family." Okay, so this to me means, the way that I'm interpreting this, based on the situations, he kept going off by himself because, what did she say, he has social anxiety? Yes, he has social anxiety. So he kept going off by himself. The purpose of him going was to support her. She needed to go be with her family to grieve the loss of her cousin. He attended to support her, to be a support. But instead, he kept going off by himself because he couldn't handle the people. And that's her fault, apparently, even though she gave him multiple opportunities to get out. She told him at least twice, "Hey, I know this is going to be a lot for you. I understand if you don't want to come. You can stay back at the house. You don't have to come." And I think that's the worst part, that he knew the situation would be too much for him. She gave him an out. He chose not to take it and then blamed her when he was overwhelmed. When there was a purpose for him to do, to support her, he didn't do that. He made this whole thing harder on her. She's having to go look for you. She's worrying about you. And that you broke up with her on the drive back. You said, "This made me realize you're not my person." And what did you give up for her? "This made me realize you're not my person. I've wasted so much time on you. You've never prioritized me." Even though she did prioritize you when she told you you didn't have to attend this funeral with her because she knew it would be hard for you. Instead, you go knowing she was right and then create so many situations that you make her feel like it's her fault. No. And then he left early. You guys drove together and he left you there. Which probably a good thing. It sounds like your weekend was better without him. Still, obviously, not a good weekend. You're grieving. I get that. But your weekend was less stressful without him there. Um, and the fact that, like, your mom tried to talk to him, see if she could help. And he just said, I'm not discussing this with you. Respect my boundaries. You didn't outline what the boundaries were. That's not fair. That doesn't make sense. Already, the red flags are flaming in the wind. But then when you get home and he has just done a 180, he cleaned, he knows he was wrong when he made a PowerPoint. He made a PowerPoint. No, I'm so proud of you for not giving in. Like he said, he said you weren't his person. So you took off the ring. You said you want to be with someone who believes that you're their person, and that is fair. Everything that has done like throughout this whole story was wrong. It was unfair to you. He was the one who was uncaring. He was the one who couldn't prioritize you in the moment that you needed it. And then to try to turn it all around, just act like nothing happened when you got back, that might be the worst part to me. I hate it when there's a problem, people fight, and it hasn't been discussed, you haven't resolved what the issue was, but then one person just wants to turn around the next day or a couple days later, just act like it never happened, act like you never fought, there wasn't a problem, which means the problem never gets resolved. No, you were right. He threw everything away, not you. You just didn't let him get it back out of the dumpster. Good for you. You deserve to find someone better than this. And I'm sorry that all this happened during such a hard time for you to make it even worse. Wow, that one was a lot. Okay, that is... Let's see. Oh, that's a long one. Okay, that is 4 stories for this week's episode of Was I in the Wrong? Thank you so much for being here for another episode of the Misty Morrison podcast. Remember, kindness changes everything. Give others the grace you would wish to receive, and I'll see you next time for another episode. Bye, guys.